Waverly Claw, AICP, is the diligent, creative, and ethical planner we all aspire to be. Throughout her career as a planner in the nonprofit and public sector, Waverly has worked closely with local governments and civic organizations in the West to increase the resilience of the built and natural environment to the impacts of climate change. Before joining the Sonoran Institute, Waverly was a hazards and land use planner with the Colorado Department of Local Affairs, Community Development Office. During this time, she raised the bar on environmental planning, contributing substantially to planning for natural hazards. However, Waverly's impact extends beyond preserving our water supplies and resilient communities in the West. More subtle results are enhanced collaboration among local government staff and the advancement of best practices. Waverly pioneered the development of a suite of integrated land use planning metrics used by communities to track their progress towards an impact of integrating land use and water. Armed with this information, communities across the West have the tools to navigate and measure their decisions' effectiveness over time, becoming better stewards of their natural resources. Waverly's daily diligence and long-term commitment to serve communities in the West is remarkable. Waverly's dedication, commitment to quality, and drive make the success of these environmental planning efforts possible.
I'm Waverly Claw. I'm the Director of Resilient Communities and Watersheds for the Sonoran Institute, which is a nonprofit organization that has been working on kind of bridging the natural world and the built environment and really kind of creating a harmony between those two for the past 30 years. And the work that I do is with our Growing Water Smart program that really recognizes the growing scarcity of water in the West. My journey really started when I was very young because I became instantly interested in environmental sustainability and environmental issues. I grew up in Michigan, actually, and then went to undergrad at Syracuse University in upstate New York, worked for a time in New York City on international conflict prevention and resolution issues, and then moved out west to Portland, Oregon, where I worked for River Network, which is a national river and watershed protection organization. And I landed in Colorado after 3 years of living abroad. I lived in South Korea for 3 years and learned a lot about their approaches to urban livability in a dense environment. So I got my master's in urban and regional planning from the University of Colorado, Denver. I enjoy being out in Colorado, out in nature, hiking and biking and taking my kids and my family out into the natural environment so that they can take a breather and enjoy everything that nature has to offer. I guess I would say something that most people don't necessarily know about me is that I love to travel and I love to live in other countries and experience other cultures. I lived on the 18th floor of a high-rise building in Daegu, South Korea. I lived in Manhattan. My family is Dutch, and so I actually lived for a short while in the Netherlands as well. I really love participating and facilitating in our Growing Water Smart workshops. I think that one of the great opportunities is bringing people together from different departments to talk about sort of locally generated solutions to water issues. So our Growing Water Smart program is a partnership with the great folks at the Babbitt Center for Land and Water Policy. And what we put on is a training and assistance program for local governments. So I think that the natural environment is a critical underpinning for building community resilience. I think that we cannot become resilient as a society and in our individual communities without really strengthening our link to the natural environment. We're not going to be able to rely on engineered, hardened solutions to keeping the natural environment and keeping natural hazards at bay. We have to incorporate and blend into the built environment. Before it becomes a crisis, we really have to address the elephant in the room, which is water. And we don't want communities to be pitted against each other, fighting for water. The whiskey is for drinking, water is for fighting over. Like we want to kind of end that stereotype or cliche of what's going on in the West. So we have it within our power to do so, I think. It's an honor to receive this award. I'm really humbled and excited that you're recognizing environmental planning, and so thank you.